Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us for our last informational webinar on the Quad City Corporate Games. My name is Isaac Shafo. I am the Assistant Director of the Corporate Games, and joining me today is Kyle Wagner. He's the Director of the Corporate Games. He gets to do Des Moines Corporate Games, and I'm a little bit more hands-on with the Quad Cities and the corridor. This webinar is designed to give companies a little bit of insight on the details of how the corporate games works. If you're a new company learning more, welcome. If you're a new admin who's already registered for the game, thanks for hopping on and learning more about maybe some of your tasks coming up. In respect of your time, we're going to keep this to about 20 minutes. If you have questions during the webinar at all, there's a box you can ask questions in. We'll get those answered right away, or we'll wait till the end and have a little bit of time for you to ask questions. Otherwise, when you reach the end, I'll be happy to ask questions, and thanks for hopping on to learn a little bit more about the Quad City Corporate Games.
Awesome. Thank you, Isaac. Thank you for everybody that's joining us today as well. So the Quad Cities Corporate Games is an 8-week company competition that takes place in June and July, and we offer a variety of sports and events all throughout the summer. The Quad Cities is one of 3 locations in Iowa. So if you have a branch maybe in Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, or Des Moines, we do a corporate games in those locations as well. There's also a Nebraska corporate games if you get to as far as Lincoln and Omaha. That's where we stole Isaac from. So we're happy to have Isaac on our team instead of Nebraska's. But this will be our 4th year of the games in the Quad Cities. Last year, we grew to 32 companies, which is phenomenal for just being its 3rd year last year. So we're really excited to continue to see this event grow in the Quad Cities. So the games are open to all companies and government agencies throughout the Quad Cities area in Illinois and Iowa. The purpose of the corporate games is to promote physical and mental health, along with volunteerism and community involvement to employees of area businesses, municipalities, and government entities, and doing that through competitive sports and recreational events, and provide those companies with a platform to promote employee wellness, teamwork, and instill company pride. We've also found there are a lot of additional benefits to the games, such as networking amongst other area businesses that can lead to new business and collaboration. We have several great partners in the Quad Cities, including Visit Quad Cities, Quad Cities Chamber, Davenport Parks and Recreation, along with Bettendorf, Moline, and Rock Island's Parks and Recreation departments as well. We also partner with Impact Life for our blood donation challenge. And we also have a charity partner, the Children's Therapy Center of the Quad Cities, and a portion of every entry fee is donated to the Children's Therapy Center.
As mentioned earlier, we have over 25 sports and events, so there's a little something for everybody. There's a wide variety, making it possible for every one of your employees to be involved in some way. You can take a look at that list. We've added a couple fun new events this year. We offer team and individual sports, as well as competitive and non-competitive events. Some virtual events can be done right from your desk at any time. There's also a community component with the blood donation challenge, which Kyle just talked about. We're happy to partner with Impact Life. This provides an opportunity to provide some blood supplies in the summer months when that's usually low. So that's a great way to kind of interact with your community as well. So for these events, it's a mix of weekday evenings and weekends for our in-person activities. Many of the virtual events can take place you can complete at any time, meaning that all employees can be a part of the games no matter how busy their schedule is. Several of our events are also family friendly. And our website has more information on which events are and which aren't. So if you go to quadcitycorporategames.com, we have an events page, and every single one of our events is listed with and all the information concerning that event. So that's a really great place to answer your questions. We utilize a lot of the facilities that Kyle just talked about with our Parks and Rec partners, and we like to spread those events out throughout the Quad Cities area. A question that frequently gets asked is if there's a minimum number of events that a company has to participate in, and that answer is no. Companies can participate in as many or as few events as they choose. We understand that summers are a little busy, and maybe you've got some employees that work different hours, so it's hard to make it to different events. But The corporate games is what you choose it to be for your company. So if you want to participate in every one, awesome. If there's only a handful that you can be at, that's great. It's a great way to engage your employees outside the workplace. So right here is a look, the very first look at our 2024 schedule. We're about 99% locked in here, and we'll have the final calendar cemented and published by the end of March. Our website is up to date with what you see on the screen. So again, if you go to that events page and click on any of the event, the information should be up to date there. You may notice on this schedule that some sports have multiple days listed, like dodgeball there on June 19th and 20th. This is because different companies compete on different days, but all sports are only one day. So if you're a Division I company, you're not going to be participating in dodgeball on both days. There'll only be one day that you're required. And for our events, we like to keep it around 2 hours. If you keep on winning, you're probably going to participate for a little bit longer than that, but the payoff is worth it. So we like to be considerate of your time and keep these events rolling as fast as we can. But all that information is available again on the event page.
As far as eligibility goes, the Quad City Corporate Games is open to all your employees that work in the Quad Cities area, and this includes full-time, part-time, interns, and retirees. So as previously mentioned, several of the events are family-friendly. Some events require a fee to the organizer, like our Belmont Mile, but we cover that fee for our participants. But say your husband, wife, or a friend wants to compete and they're not on a corporate games company, they can sign up through the Belmont Mile website and participate. But many of our events are like the fitness walk, our cycling tour ride, they don't have a fee. So we are happy to have family, friends, whoever you want to come join you. The only thing is they can't earn actual points for your company, but they can still come participate. The Corporate Games website, like Isaac said, will give information on each event page as to who is eligible to participate and if non-corporate games participants need to register separately.
A little look at the company investment. Company fees for the Quad City Corporate Games are based off of the number of employees in your company's bi-state location. So if you have a location in Davenport and one in Rock Island, they can participate together, or they could be separate and compete differently. This company fee is all inclusive, meaning employees participate at no cost. The company pays the fee, and then all the employees get to participate in these events and try out all these sports and stuff for free, which is really cool to see. Because employees don't pay that fee, we get a lot of people who sign up for events that have never played before. So that's a really cool opportunity as well. The only exception to that fee structure is golf. They have to pay for a cart if they choose to ride. So still, a round of golf and just paying for a cart is still a pretty good deal there. Smaller companies can combine forces and compete together as one company team. So if maybe you have our smallest companies are around 20 employees. So if you have, maybe 15 or 10 employees, but you really want to be a part of the games, say there's another company that you do a lot of business with, you guys could compete together as one team. And that also allows for a split registration fee, which is unique as well. So companies need to have less than 75 employees to combine, and then the combined total cannot exceed 100. So some of those smaller companies that are around 20, they like to participate just as themselves, and that's fine. Some wish to be paired up. So if that's something you'd like, be sure to reach out to us and we can help facilitate a partnership with another company.
So companies are split into divisions based on general company size. And in these divisions, companies will compete against similar sized companies. So like Isaac mentioned, those companies of 20 aren't going up against companies with, hundreds or thousands of employees. So they're drawing from a similar sized company to compete against. In order to win the cup, companies compete to earn points. And there's several ways to earn points. First is participation points. So participation points are given for all sports and events. Every participant in an individual and team sport will receive participation points. Team sports also have a set number of participation points per team. And in those competitive events, you can also earn placing points by finishing in the top 4 or top 6 of your company division. Volunteering is another great way. The corporate games, that might sound like a bunch of athletic events. A great way to earn points is through volunteering. So you do not have to be some super athlete to do the games by any means at all. Most of our events require we need volunteers, and again, that's a great way to earn points. And this is a way for family and friends to earn points in the game. So if you have if you're volunteering and you want your husband to come volunteer with you, they can earn points as well. So this is the only way in the games that non-corporate games company employees can earn points. So you'll select it after our admin meeting. If your company wants to provide volunteers for the games, you'll get a small number of required volunteer spots for the summer. It's very, very small, like 2 or 4, just to get you started. And then you'll be able to claim open spots as they come available each week for your company to earn those additional points. So we assign those spots like we talked about, but they're very, very easy volunteer spots. They involve like participant check-in, maybe scorekeeping at basketball, measuring at the long jump at track, things that require no sport-specific knowledge, and we're there to help teach and guide and provide any instruction that's needed. So it's a great way to earn those points. Volunteer points are actually worth 50 points per person, whereas participation in those individual events is 25. So you actually get more points for volunteering. There's a lot of strategies to earning points. Companies tend to develop their own ways to compete, but the more involved a company is in the games, the better odds of earning more points. But every company has their own goal, and while competing for the cup and winning those giant trophies is an important part of the games, we know that's not the desired outcome for every single company. That's up to your company on what you want to get out of the games. For competitive events, we do have gold, silver, and bronze medals, as you can see in the picture. Those are awarded to the top 3 in each division. So lots of chances to earn medals with all the different events that we have. It's funny, some companies do have their own corporate games events done as internal competitions. So if we have pickleball, spike ball, bags, they might have their own competition beforehand to see who's going to make the corporate games teams for the summer. So it's a great way to build that company pride beforehand and get to know your teammates and everything before you get to the games too. So the points earned at all the events that we talked about are cumulative, so they add up throughout the summer. After every event, we update the company leaderboard on the website, allowing employees to follow along and see how their company is doing. Every Monday, we send an email out with an update of the previous week's events, photos, and of course, that all-important leaderboard. We do notice throughout the summer that leaderboard gets clicked more and more and more as we get down to the wire, and companies are really engaged in trying to secure one of those trophies at the end of the year. But at the end of July, we have the final standings. Those are released after our last event. And then in August, the top companies in each division receive a trophy in recognition of their accomplishments at our award ceremony. The champion for each division will also receive that coveted Corporate Games Cup, as you can see in the picture. The slightly smaller one, the winning companies keep forever. And then the massive one is a traveling trophy that travels from year to year. We update with the company winners, and whoever wins that division keeps that for the year. So it's a cool traveling trophy that we have. And then we have some separate awards as well, like the Blood Donation Challenge, presented by Impact Life. So that's its own separate award. And then the Volunteer Award too. The companies that provide the most volunteers in each division throughout the summer also receive a separate award.
And now that we talked about the basics of the Quad City Corporate Games, we're going to walk through a little bit of the administrative side of the games. So this will be good for some new company administrators who are signed up for the games, but maybe haven't taken on this role before. Each company that participates in the game has a company administrator. This person is kind of the go-between between our corporate game staff and your company. It's important that we have one person from each company to communicate with on a regular basis. Although we do recommend, spreading that out as many as you can. So if you have a couple other folks that want to take on responsibility and be administrators, that's a great idea. The company admin has key responsibilities. First is recruiting other employees to assist with the organization on the company side. So that's grabbing two or three other folks to kind of share that responsibility with you. This could be others on like a wellness committee within your HR department, or just employees that have an interest in being involved in a key role in your company's participation. We also recommend companies have sport captains, which are essentially employees who are interested in a particular team sport. So say you've got maybe some retired basketball players who want to relive their glory days. Say, hey, would you like to be a sport captain for basketball? They say, yes, that's great. And then they can choose the roster and they can go recruit folks. And then that takes a little bit of that extra trying to find folks for events off of your plate. So a sport captain, for example, help recruit and determine the roster and communicate to the team members when games are. And having sport captains really helps spread out the responsibility of the admin. We provide several tools for the company administrator, including promotional information to push out to those employees. But our most important tool for the administrator is the corporate games manager software, which we'll talk a little bit about next. And of course, Kyle and I are always available by phone or email. We know this is, you're taking on a new role and you might have questions throughout the process, but we're always happy to answer those and we get back to you as fast as we can as well. So here's a little look at what the corporate games manager looks like. This was specifically designed for the corporate games. With that in mind, this software was built into the corporate games website, and it's a one-stop shop for employees and company administrators. We built the software from the perspective of a company administrator to make it as easy on you as we could, and it's a very useful tool in the management of the corporate games. Employees can use Corporate Games Manager to declare their interest for events, view news from the corporate games staff, as well as their made a roster for a team sport, as well as any assignments to volunteer spots. It's really simple for employees to use and view information on their dashboard. Corporate Games Manager will also send alerts to employees when they're added to a volunteer assignment or an event. So at the time, they create their account and their password, they get to sign up real quick, and then they're in there, and then they can kind of decide which events. So if they want to say they want to participate in bags, in dodgeball, and say, hey, I'm interested in those two. And then you as an administrator will see their name pop up. So it's really easy for you to see kind of who's interested in that. For company admins, it's a crucial tool for organizing participation and communicating with your employees. Admins have all the features of a regular employee, plus a couple extra ones, from assigning sport captains, managing employees, company news, and pulling reports, which is also really important. It covers virtually everything you need to be successful from the company participation side.
So another important tool that we have is our company administrator meeting, which will take place April 2nd at the Bettendorf City Hall. This is a great meeting for you to meet other admins. They'll share their tips and tricks and things like that to get employees involved. But we go through everything in detail. So a lot of the stuff that we covered today, we go through in more detail, especially Corporate Games Manager, show you how to use it so you can show your employees how to set up their accounts. We have PDF guides, step-by-step processes and everything to help employees get their accounts going so they can get signed up for events. But it's very, very helpful. So if you can attend that one in person, that's great. We will send a link out for that company administrator meeting after you register for the corporate games. So you'll get a personalized link to register for that meeting. But it's a great way, again, for us to go into more detail on all things corporate games to help you out and get you ready for the summer. So if you do feel the Quad City Corporate Games is right for your company and you want to get registered, you can do so at qccorporategames.org registration. The link is on the screen there, also on our website. It'll ask for some pretty general information, your company, your address, the number of eligible employees. and few things like that. But payment is not required at the time of registration. Once that comes through, we'll get an invoice processed through our AP and get that sent out typically the week after. So no payments due at the time of registration. We know it takes time to get approval and all things like that. So we just ask that you keep us posted on how conversations are going. If you're thinking you're gonna register this year, hey, it's not in the budget, we got to wait till next year, or however it's going, just keep us posted so we can plan accordingly, because we know it does take some time to get approval. But once you do register, Isaac will send over a confirmation email with a link to that admin meeting and many more details to get you set up for the summer. And company registration does close March 1. So right now we'll take some questions. If you have any, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll answer anything that comes up. While questions are coming in, I guess I will add. So Isaac will send out today an email to you with a link to this presentation, a recording of it, a PDF of it, a link to our registration, and much more. So if you need to share that with others in, whether it's HR, the approval committee, or your wellness committee, or whoever it is, so you can share that out as well. So Isaac will get that to you later today.
All right, I got a question that came up. This says, what are you most excited for the upcoming 2024 season? And that's a great question. So last year was my first year. So I got to meet a lot of great folks. I get to work with all these administrators every day in the summer. So I think I'm most excited to see how they're doing a year later. It's really fun to build relationships with those folks. But then also just like setting up the events and seeing folks who maybe have never played pickleball get like really excited about it and getting kind of competitive too is always really funny, really fun to see, and it's rewarding as well. So that's what I'm most excited for.
Same. It's just Isaac and I are both former college athletes, so we're very competitive. So it's probably good we don't participate, but it's just nice to meet people and just see things come together. Like people form teams outside of the games or form leagues, or it's just wild what and who comes out. You'll be at an event and you'll be like, whoa, I didn't know you worked there, or you were in the X company or whatever. And it's just cool to have that throughout the summer and have just several different opportunities for your employees to get involved.
Yeah, well, I don't see any other questions rolling through. Thank you so much for joining us today, learning a little bit more. Like Kyle said, I'll be in contact with you right after this webinar is recorded. It takes a little bit, and then I'll be able to send that out to you. If you have any questions along the way, please feel free to reach out. If the corporate games isn't for you or it's not going to happen this year, be free to let me know so I don't have to send you, extra emails or clog your inbox or anything like that. So thanks for joining us. Have a great rest of your week and a great weekend.
Thanks, everyone.